Hey y'all, I May Destroy You, episode 7 and 8. I really want to cover, I thought I could pull them all together through 12 because I just kept watching. Have family around, so I'm never usually by myself. Excuse the glare, you'll see me and you'll also see the glare from the television. Episode 7 is Happy Animals. It's essentially opening with them in the grocery store. A card is declined for £78.09, and the cashier asks, "Hey, can I get a selfie?" She goes, "Yeah," even after the declination takes place. And she was like, "Okay, well, you have to put all this stuff back." So, Arabella, oh my word, I couldn't even imagine what that's like. Because I'd be like, "Are you kidding me? I'm going through real life stuff, and this is what you do?" Ultimately, the girl posted the selfie mocking her, saying, "Here's the writer who couldn't afford her $78 in groceries, 78 pounds of groceries." Sorry, I'm trying to keep the right units of measurement because they're not American based. And again, shout out to Michaela Cole for being able to not only do this, but do this in London, in her area where she's familiar, and bring that to, I don't know, the world. I think it's great to have exposure of all of us in different places as much as possible. Meaning, black people in different places doing different things, going about their culture, their customary lifestyles, and that way it can teach the world we're not a monolithic people. Oh my word. Okay, so moving on. Arabella discusses out loud before she goes in to find out, like, where's the money from the publishing company? Why can't I get paid? All this time, she's finally digesting her assault. And she's like, "Look, I've always been too focused on being black and poor versus just being a woman." It's noted that she begins to see herself as a woman after being assaulted and wonders how can she fit in the tribe? And does she best serve this tribe? Well, she goes in for a reading in order to earn money. They tell her she has a contract she can't get paid until she finishes the draft. She goes to see Henny, proceeds to eat pomegranates pieces with her bare hands, omitting the spoon that was right there. And all I could think was, oh my word. This is why we have the germs and the bacterias and the infections that occur in the world because people just don't want to do basic proper hygiene. Excuse the camera, fell over a bit because I knocked the table. But anywho, she gets a job with Theo at Happy Animals. It's a vegan grocery service that pays better for minority staff. Theo comes and offers her some cash money, saying, "Hey, I got a referral fee. This is your portion." She's like, "No, no, no, don't worry." She's like, "No, I have to." But we can see Theo being suspect in front of her computer and reading how the company is asking them, bring in more minorities, we can get more money, you can get paid more. It appears that Ella Vera has given, she's known for her first book, like Chronicles of Millennial something something complaint. And because of that, or in addition to that, the company is like, "Hey, why don't you be our spokesperson, do a few little social blurbs and give us some quick recordings. You'll get paid more." She's like, "Paid how?" "Cash." "Oh, okay, I'll do it." And so let's talk about the money. And the guy's like, "Oh, we can do it at the end of the night. You'll get paid before you leave." So she's able to get the money together for the birthday party that she's trying to put on for T. So that works out for everybody. And going on over to episode 7, they have the birthday party. Theo comes over. T is not excited. She's just like wants no parts of it. She doesn't get it. She also is bothered that Arabella has it set that she's out to, I don't know, basically be more engaged with her social media presence than her immediate friends in their face. And it's getting out of hand in an ugly way. T is making ugly jokes, about being assaulted. And Kwame feels some kind of way because he has been. And he's just over it all. At any rate, he's cooking and preparing. Some guys show up for the party. They introduce themselves. One in particular is super cute. There's a whole discussion if he was Egyptian or not. I don't know. It never came out. But he's into Kwame. But Kwame's decided he's off men for now. As time goes on through the night, Arabella locks the guy in the room with Kwame. And I felt so bad for him because, of course, it triggered like a PTSD memory of being forced back in the room before the guy dry humps assaults him. And it later comes out, but she's not too considerate of her friends and how it's her assault and she's the only one who has pain. And everybody has to pay attention to that. And at some point, though, it will get discussed, and I'm glad it does. But we lead into episode 8 where she's getting information, excuse me, she's getting an update that everything they thought they had going for the case isn't going. Like, there is basically at a standstill because it's not any real evidence to do anything. It's too tainted, it's too old, there's no real connection. So she's upset about it, rightly so. And at that time, she considers what a few of the friends mentioned at the birthday party. Black vegans are they're using you. It's no different. It's all about power. And I think this is a very good write up. No matter who came up with the words for this, was it strictly Michaela Cole? But it's like an exchange of power. Capitalism, religion, veganism is all about, once I get this mass of people, even followers from social media, it's about the power. Then I can parlay and weaponize that power and dictate to others. And yeah, we all know or have heard, if you don't directly know, people get drunk with power and make it something ugly. And it just never seems to be a balance in checks, which is why no matter how much you dislike the American democracy, the goal of the checks and balances are there because the country originated with someone who was drunk on power, King George, back in England, trying to dictate what goes on over here in the colonies. I adore after the party, episode 8, Line Spectrum Border, opens with Kwame deciding he's off men completely. Not just because of the party, but because of the assault overall. He's like, you know what? I think I'm going to try women. Michaela Cole talks about her brother's dick and balls. And then she goes about boobies and vagina. Of course, Kwame had a, innate movement. It was, unforced for dick and balls. And they're like, dude, stay away from women. This is not for you. This is not, I understand what you're trying to go. I know what you're trying to do, but this isn't working. Boobs and vag. That's it. Boobs and vag. He's like turned off and disgusted. Either way, it was good to see them have a decompressing moment in the park, laughing and playing with each other. We learned Kwame is out with a Greek girl who loves black men. They go out to dinner. Apparently they had a good conversation up to that point. And so, good conversation leads to, hey, this may go somewhere. Let's go check it out. She invites him upstairs. Kwame discloses after they have sex, about her being the first woman. He normally sleeps with men. So again, consent comes up. Not just consent of the issue of Kwame being locked in a room with the guy who's interested in him and no one asks for permission, but also the fact that this girl, Nilufer, whatever, I forget, child, I don't know how to say her name, but Nilufer, the Greek girl, is questioning, you should have told me that. You just can't come up in here and have sex with me and follow me in my home. You came under false pretenses. I thought you were a straight man here for me. Even if you were ultimately questioning, it's not something I would go along with. And I'm glad they discussed this because it's going to come up again because Kwame's going to reach out and to apologize to her when he's in a better place. But after Michaela learns about it and just trashes him on it relentlessly. But it's also going to come up again when Terry, goes out with a trans man. And he does disclose it on the very first date. It was like, I just happen to be born with a vagina. And Terry wouldn't walk off saying, nope, I'm not going to be because I'll be considered transphobic. And that's not what I am. I thought that was a really interesting conundrum. Look, I would have talked my way through, let me ask some questions. And so that's how I learned and that's how I process. I get not everyone does that, so be it. Back to episode 8. I think it was a value for Nilufer to also be discussed in, she has an affinity for black men. She says it herself. That's her preference, that's her choice. But it comes off as salacious, y'all. It's that, that untoward usury. Everybody can have a preference. We've talked about this relentlessly. I think we beat that dead horse multiple times as folks live through it in America. But I'm pretty adamant about how you receive people to find out if it's a fluke, if it's, just some interest based on what they think they've heard, some stereotypes, or are they genuinely into you? Like, don't come trying to date me because, oh, I'm chocolate, and oh, I love chocolate girls, and oh, I love thick black women. Hey, Diablo. You might, but I'm not going to be the thick black woman for you. I'll tell you that now. I'll shut it down. So, Michaela then turns because she needs to spark joy. I'm sorry, let me do both hands. Spark joy. Marie Kodo has always got something going on with this organization and decluttering. And she's talking to T. She wants to go to Italy. What is it about Italy? It's just, it's where I can get my peace at. And now she feels some kind of way that she needs to apologize to Biagio. I know it's Biagio. If you just tuned in for the first time, I just call him Biagio and it's going to stick. Okay? Excuse me. So she goes to Italy. She cannot actually afford this trip. She couldn't even really afford the taxi ride. She's struggling to understand where she is and the taxi driver. But she gets to his apartment building. She sneaks in behind another tenant. She gets into the building, goes up to his unit. She remembers where he hides the spare key and lets herself in. When Bellagio comes home, he's like, wait, what? He embraces her. I'm not angry with you. I'm not mad. Y'all feel some kind of way about this. But hey, this is a consent issue as well. No one invited you into my home. Why are you here? She says, and I quote, you didn't answer, so I was trying to get in touch with you and let you know I know you're mad at me. He's like, no, I'll never be mad at you. She's like, well, I haven't been drinking, not smoking, and the case came back, and this is what it was. So she's giving him an update. Ultimately, the doorbell rings. It's the pizza guy because he's confused. And I get it. To some point, he can be scared, not just because he's a dope dealer, but because I usually don't see guys get nervous about who's coming at the house. I thought he was worried about like a girlfriend or a new wife showing up and having to explain why Arabella was there. She's like, oh, it's the pizza guy. So he offers her cash. She goes out to go meet the pizza guy. Comes back, honey, he has locked the door on her with all of her belongings inside, including what she was writing and wouldn't read to him, her passport. I believe her phone was there, but maybe it wasn't. Ultimately, she got the clue and realized, oh, he locked me out. So instead of beating and yelling and cursing at the door harder, she's like, at least I won't stay infinitely. I can leave tomorrow. I have a ticket. Oh, crap. My passport's inside. So he finally slides the passport under the door. And then that's when she's like, okay, I see this was intentional. The door isn't just locked. Biagio, what's going on? And she ultimately has to walk away. Why? He opens the door and pulls a 9mm on her. Looks every bit like a 9 to me. Anywho, maybe I'm wrong. Y'all tell me. What kind of gun was that? Whoa. I was too caught off guard. I guess I'm used to, or I'll entertain more ignorance. Like, I know you're just knocking on the door. You don't mean any harm. You're not here to harm me. But I wouldn't just... He had the gun to his side. So I won't say he pointed it at her, but it's 2020. I can't play games. I cannot play games. At any rate, she leaves mad, cursing and fussing. She goes to sleep at the beach. Y'all, I couldn't have done it. The beach at night scares me. It's too dark. I mean, too dark. But now that I've dealt, with Katrina and not just the countryside of different parts of America, but man, when you get away from the city and have no lights and it's not an area you're familiar with, that's why I say the country. Like, I'm familiar with it when I'm around my granddaddy's place. But a new place, that beach scares me, period. That wide open ocean, you never know. Like, you can't always hear people walk up on you on a beach when it's nighttime because of the ocean, the lapping, and the other movement. Either way, I know some people think it's romantic and it's cute. Excuse me for being scary. She sleeps on the beach overnight. She wakes up, and I don't know how she gets back to London, but she does. She's able to get herself there. And then we cut to Kwame having the fight with Nalufer and discussing, this isn't up for debate. It's not that you just said something to offend me, but you're speaking against gay people in a way I don't appreciate. She's like, you're gay? It's like, yeah, well, why would you not say that you were gay? And then that's when he's like, oh, crap. And she's like, we've shared a lot. You could have said something at any point. And he was trying to give it like, I wasn't sure. She's like, you could just leave. I wasn't sure. I was just trying to figure things out. You could tell he's genuinely like bothered or confused. At the same token, she doesn't want to hear it. With that being said, we see Arabella walk out into the ocean, wrapping up this episode with, I don't know, purifying herself. Like the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Ha ha ha. That's a Purple Rain reference for anyone that cares. But episode 7 and 8 pushes forward the conversation of what does consent look like for different people, different races, different sexes, different cultures. And at this point, what do y'all think? There's only so few of us watching these reviews. Like literally a handful of y'all. So I get it. No one really cares, or maybe it's not popping right now. But it'll get found eventually. Folks still on Corona, you'll get a free HBO viewing or something. You'll want to see more of this, and I look forward to the commentary. Drop in the comments. Let me know what you think, what your questions are. Happy to dialogue.